Hello, you're listening to the Career Changemaker podcast. Having the courage to leave a career that you have worked hard to build and try something else can be tough. So in each episode, we dive into key career change strategies so that you have a clear understanding of what is required to transition into a new role or a new industry without feeling like you have to start at the bottom or have to take a massive pay cut. Because ain't nobody got time for that. If you are ready for frank and honest discussions about how to become a career change maker, keep listening. I'm your host, lawyer turned career strategist and executive coach, Janine Esbrand. Hello, and welcome to the show. It is February and it's the month where everyone talks about love. So I thought I would do an episode that is focused on that theme, but not in the romantic sense. That would take a whole other episode. My husband and I have been together for 20 years this month, so I have a lot to say about love, and so I can't wrap that into this episode. We can have a separate one about that. If I have enough people send me an email telling me they want to hear about the story, I will share it on a future podcast. For today's episode, I want to talk about falling in love with your career development journey. And the reason I want to talk about that is I have had so many conversations with women, with clients, with people that I network with who are expressing that they feel behind. They don't always say it in that way, but what they're essentially saying, like the words behind the words, is that they feel behind, where they feel as though they should have started already. They should have figured this out already. They should have made that move that they've been wanting to make for years. They should be further ahead at this point in their life. Really what they're saying is that they want to get to where they want to get to and they want to do it quickly, or they feel as though they should have done it quicker. And yes, I am all for having goals. I am all for striving towards where it is you want to get to. But the bit that I think people miss is that in order for you to truly be a person who is making impact in the role that you want to be in, you have to become the person that is able to operate in that role. You don't become the person who's able to operate in that role overnight. So it's a development journey, because not only are you developing your path and developing the strategy that you're going to take to get to your destination, but you also have to develop in the process. That has become more and more clear to me since becoming an entrepreneur. So I went full-time in my business in April 2021, and I'd been running my business on the side for a good 4, almost 5 years before I went full-time. So to my mind, I was just going to do more of what I'd been doing on the side, but in a full-time capacity. Well, it didn't quite work out that way, because there is an identity shift that happens when you go from working as a lawyer for 10 years to working for yourself, right? And in order for me to be a good enough leader to actually run my company and actually lead team members and to build a 6-figure coaching and consulting business, I couldn't be the same person that I was the first day that I left my job as a lawyer. Why? Because the person that I was when I left my job as a lawyer was somebody who very much had an employee mindset. And the person that I am becoming, I'm not there yet, the person that I am becoming is somebody who has an entrepreneurial mindset. If I have an employee mindset, the way that I go about doing things and the way that I set out my expectations is going to be different to me if I have an entrepreneurial mindset. There are different things that are required of me now that I run my own business that weren't required of me before. And I think so many people miss that when they're looking to make moves in their career. Whether you're making a move across to something different or you're making a move up and you want to be more senior than you are right now, recognize that you're going to have to grow in the process in order for you to feel confident, in order for you to fully function in this new space. And that growth period is so valuable. It's so valuable if you fully embrace it. If you just coast along and then you're like, right, I want to get to this goal, you may well land the role. You may well position yourself effectively to land it, but then you've got to show up and you've got to do it. And that is where the challenge comes where people start to feel as though they're not worthy, they're not good enough, and they suffer with imposter syndrome, partly because their expectations are not set correctly. So if you go into it expecting that on day one, because you now have the title of senior director, or now you have the title of partner, or now you have the title of CEO, you're going to be able to operate like a CEO, a director, or a partner, then you're going to cause yourself to feel less than. Because the reality is you don't yet have the skill set. You haven't yet developed that skill set. You are not being hired when you're being hired for a new role because you have it all figured out yet. You're being hired because you've demonstrated potential. So lean into that and really accept the fact that it's a process and it's a journey. And then if you fall in love with the journey, you're able to fully appreciate the lessons that you've learned, and you're able to fully appreciate the growth that you've experienced as an individual, rather than thinking, I should be further ahead by now. Because if you're focused on the fact that you're not as far ahead as you should be, it's really hard for you to find the wins in the journey. It's really hard for you to reflect on, hey, before I would have approached this situation like this, but now I'm approaching it like that. Growth. Or I never thought that I would be able to do X, but now I'm doing it. There has to be some level of reflection that is baked in to your day-to-day, your month-to-month, your quarter-to-quarter reality. If you're just going, and you're not reflecting on how much you've grown, how much you've learned, what you need to be working on, what skill sets you need to develop, you're missing an opportunity to have a more rich experience in your career. So what I'm saying is, you don't have to be where it is you want to get to before you start enjoying what it is you're doing. What you can recognize is, even if you're on a journey, if you are clear on that journey, if you have set your steps with intention and you know that you're on your way there, then you can appreciate the person you're becoming as you go on that journey. And this is one of the benefits of working with a coach who's able to help you see your blind spots and help you pause when you need to pause, help you acknowledge when you need to acknowledge, help you plan when you need to plan, so that you're not just going and feeling like you're not getting to where you want to get to. When you work with a coach, they're able to help you to pause and be like, hey, did you see that? Like, I know you've just explained all of this to me, but did you see how much you've grown? Did you recognize that before you would have said it this way, but now you're saying it this way? Have you noticed that you're actually showing up more powerfully? Have you noticed that you're actually able to find the win in a situation? So I'm forever an advocate of coaching, right? Like, I've had some really powerful coaching myself, and I will say that I will never not be working with a coach because it is so helpful when you're looking to elevate where you are, when you're looking to elevate where you want to get to. Your mindset is key. When you are able to fall in love with the journey, how you approach the journey is going to dictate how you feel when you arrive at the destination. So often we can feel like, oh, once I get here, everything's going to be good. Once I land that promotion, once I get that 5-figure salary increase, once I change into that different industry, life is going to be fantastic. But if you're only focused on the destination and not on the journey and what you're experiencing on the way, you will very likely find that when you achieve the goal and when you reach the destination, it's not going to feel as fulfilling as you thought it would. It's not going to feel as fulfilling as you thought it would. So don't just focus on the destination, focus on the destination plus what needs to be happening on the journey and the experiences that you are having along the way. One of the things that I've noticed as I've been looking through and reflecting on the different ladies who have come through the Career Changemaker program is that in addition to them landing roles, gaining clarity on where they want to get in their career, experiencing salary increases, starting their own businesses, in addition to those things, those are results that they get, right? But in addition to those things, they become different people in the container. So in the 3 to 6 months that they are inside of the program, they become different people. And how I know they become different people is how they talk about the way that they show up and how much more intentional they are about their actions and their decision making. So often we'll have people coming into the program who feel very unsure and not assertive in what they want or where they want to go. And then we fast forward to the end, and when we hear them reflect on their journey, so many of them feel like, yes, I can do what it is that I want to do. I know how I go about doing things, and I am now feeling confident in doing it, because as they've gone through the process, they've had to step out of their comfort zone. They've had to do things that they didn't really want to do, but they've done it in a safe space that is enjoyable. And as they've enjoyed the process and they've gone out and they've done things that they haven't, or they didn't think that they'd be able to do, there's a shift that happens. There's a shift that happens and they become a different person. So if you are somebody who knows that you want to make moves, but you also acknowledge that being supported in becoming the person that you need to be in order to execute on that role when you land it, then get yourself on the waitlist for the Career Changemaker program. Get yourself on the waitlist. Head over to careerchangemakers.com/waitlist and you can join the waitlist, and I will let you know when spaces open up again inside of the program. But I think it is so, so important to be operating on a double track, right? So the one track is the very logical, like, this is what I'm trying to achieve. Here are my goals. Here are my milestones. This is what I'm doing. And then the other track is the practical, on a personal level, like, what do I need to do? Like, what do I need to work on in order for me to get to be the person that I need to be to operate in this role? Not just do the role, but be the person that I need to be to operate in this role. So I would say having a coach, working with a therapist, being in community with the right people, all of those things can help you to start showing up as the woman you want to be before you've even landed the role that you want. So you're ready. So fall in love with the journey. It isn't always about fast forwarding to the destination. We live in such an instant culture right now. Like, whatever you want, you can get it really quickly. You want food, you just buy it. You want to warm your food up, you just put it in the microwave. You want to cook a whole meal, you can put it in the air fryer. You want any type of entertainment, go onto Netflix. If you want to learn something, head over to YouTube. Like, everything that you want to find out about or you want to do, you can pretty much do it quite quickly, right? That is causing us to rush through certain parts of life that actually need to be done on a slower pace. Because if not, you rob yourself of the opportunity to really feel fully what the experience is. All right, that's all I have to say about that today. Fall in love with the journey, development. I looked it up actually, the definition of development. So when we talk about professional development, personal development, career development, the definition of development is the process of developing or becoming developed. It's a process. It's a process. But I invite you to join the Prepare to Pivot email series if you haven't done so already. That is a place where I'll be dropping gems, insights, guidance on how you can be preparing yourself for the pivot. There's a reason it's called Prepare to Pivot. It's because not only are we helping you to think about the strategy, but we're also helping you to acknowledge and notice the mindset shifts that are required in order for you to be the person that you want to be. So head over to careerchangemakers.com/prepare to pivot so you can join that email list, and I will speak to you very, very soon. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe to the show so that you don't miss any future episodes. Also, I would love to know what your biggest takeaway has been from today's episode. Come over and join us in our Career Changemakers community over on LinkedIn so that you can join the conversation there. Head over to lightbotscoaching.com/community and it will take you right to the group.